Alright, the Amber video series continues. This is part 4 of probably 6 to 7 parts. All videos focusing on different types of amber fragrances. If you haven't caught the previous videos, please go catch them. But I've done 3 and this is the 4th one. This is amber spicy fragrances. But if you haven't caught the previous ones, we've done a general amber video. There was an amber vanilla video. And then of course, amber fougere a couple of weeks back. So this is amber spicy. If you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. I'm talking about amber spicy fragrances today. This is part of the amber series of videos I'm doing. We did a woody series. We did about 10 videos. I think this one's going to go around 7. Let me see if I can push it to 8, but I think I've got around 2 or 3 more that I could do here in the amber series. If you have any ideas on types of amber fragrances you want me to cover, do put a comment down and let me know. And also, if you're missing your favorite fragrance, I'm trying to only put one fragrance in a video. So if it's already featured in one, I'm kind of leaving it out. But I feel like I might have to start featuring them in future videos. But I've got 20 fragrances here, unranked, and a couple of budget fragrances after the outro. Let's get started with the first fragrance. It's from the house of Tom Ford, a latest Harrods exclusive. It's Amber Intrigue, this one right here. So I was actually looking forward to something really amazing here, and I think I'm a little underwhelmed with it, unfortunately. And I've never been a fan of Amber Absolute from the house of Tom Ford. So this kind of sort of seems like it. It doesn't have the sweetness that I like in my amber fragrances, and that's what's lacking here. It's basically amber accord, labdanum, sandalwood, Haitian vetiver, date accord, olibanum. I feel like when you spray it, there's something like a really great start, and for me, it really doesn't go too far in a great place that I want to keep wanting to smell the fragrance. So I'll put it to you test a little more, but I'm highlighting it here because it does have a lot of spice in it. That's Amber Intrigue from the house of Tom Ford. Now this next fragrance is from the house of MAISON KURKDJIAN. I'm featuring my older bottle, but it is getting the relaunch. This is ABSOLUE Pour Le Soir from the house of MAISON KURKDJIAN. Definitely fitting of this this video because it's uber spicy. It features a prominent cumin note along with rose. There's honey, there's cistus labdanum, vanilla, amber, a lot of different notes, but it's a fantastic, super sexy, musky, slightly animalic take on an amber fragrance that's to die for. I'm glad it's getting the re-release. But if you haven't caught my video on it, go catch that. You'll hear more about this fragrance. It's exclusively selling at a department store, and it's on pre-order. It might be already launched by the time this video airs, but I'm also thinking it's not going to be identical, but who knows, maybe it will be, and it'll surprise me, and I'll be very happy. I have a little bit left here of the original. Let me know if you're a fan of ABSOLUE Pour Le Soir. It's a great example for an amber spicy fragrance. But moving on to the house of MASQUE MILANO, it's Tango, created by Cecile Zarokian. Are you guys familiar with this one? I know one of you guys was asking why I didn't feature this one in a previous video. Well, I was saving it for spicy because it is a spicy amber. Lots of cumin here once again. We've got amber, there's cinnamon, more spice, tonka, cardamom, more spice, black pepper, damask rose. So this is an uber spicy fragrance, whereas the previous one was musky, slightly animalic. Some of you think it's extremely animalic. Some of you think it's a urinal smell. I love that one, by the way. This is not having any of that animalic musky touches. It's just a very, very spicy take on amber. Also resinous and slightly floral as well. You've got the cardamom, black pepper, cinnamon, and cumin all rolled into one. So it's almost like a spice bazaar come to life with a lot of amber. It's a great fragrance. I think Cecile does some good work. I like some of her fragrances more than others. This one's definitely top-notch from her. So it's Tango from the house of MASQUE MILANO. Let me know if you're familiar with that one or a fan of. This next fragrance is from the house of Costume National. This is Soul, a Dominique Ropian created fragrance. Really nice. It's not only amber, but you've got leather here and also oud, and the whole fusion is super amazing. Very Middle Eastern style, but also from an Italian designer house. Very underrated, small Italian designer house. But one of their best fragrances, and of course created by Dominique Ropian. It's oud, leather, ambergris, cardamom, pink pepper, vanilla. And so not only do we have the spicy notes like pink pepper and also cardamom, but some of the notes, the other notes that are being used in here create a spicy effect as well. So it's extremely spicy, warm and spicy. So it's Costume National Sol. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. So up next, going to the house of Guy Fawkes. It's Nightcap, one of their limited edition fragrances. It's an uber spicy take on amber, also smoky. And it does have some creamy lactonic touches. And it kind of sort of reminds me a little bit of something like a beefier take on Jazz Club from the house of Maison Margiela. So this is oud, smoke, milk, leather, amber, vanilla, sandalwood, malt, bitter orange, coriander, white musk. A lot's going on in here. So you'll start off with an ambery, oudy, milky thing, and then eventually when you're wearing it, it starts getting smokier and darker, muskier, and of course spicy as well. Really wonderful offering from this house. It's a limited edition. I believe it's back now selling. Check it out. Nightcap from the house of Guy Fawkes. But moving on to the house of Rosendo MATEU. This is number 5. Are you guys familiar with this one? I know a lot of you know this one. It's a great fragrance. In fact, I think it still is my number 1 favorite fragrance from this house. And yes, it does remind me of Baby Cat. It does remind me of Vanagloria. It does remind me of Eau d'Ombre Leather from Tom Ford. They all kind of have something similar about them. But it's an amazing experience here, really super amazing. With a lot of musk, there's amber here, vanilla, floral notes, spices, chock full of spices along with saffron, strawberries, lily of the valley, and of course I do get incense in here as well. But most likely black pepper, pink pepper kind of creates that kind of an effect. And this is why it's reminding me of Baby Cat and fragrances like that. So Rosendo MATEU, number 5. Really wonderful offering from that house. But moving on to the house of NUIT NOMADE, it's AMBRE KHANDJAR, this one right here. You know, this house, as I said, is one of my favorite houses. I absolutely love everything that they do. All of their releases are really super amazing. One of the best houses out there. And also, their fragrances are not uber expensive, but the new extracts, I'm not talking about those because those are pricey. But just a general collection, I feel like the prices are great, really unique offerings, and great smells. And here we have a really amazing kind of a fruity amber, also very spicy with black plums, labdanum, there's Orris, sandalwood, benzoin, leather, vanilla. There's definitely spicy touches here because it acts very spicy, and they're not mentioning what spices there are in here, but definitely a spicy take on an amber fragrance, but also kind of fruity and also powdery and things like that as well. Really wonderful offering. If you don't know KHANDJAR from the house of NUIT NOMADE, please check that out. Definitely one of my all-time favorite houses. Putting together a video that you guys wanted me to do. But moving on to the house of TIZIANA TERENZI, it's LAUDANO Nero. This one right here. Are you guys familiar with this one? A lot of people say this reminds them of Black Afghano. I feel like there are similarities there, but I feel like this is different. First of all, it's quite ashy. You experience the smoky ash, and that maybe there might be something like that in Black Afghano, but they wear a bit different. This is also quite boozy and oudi, and there's all kinds of different notes in here. It's incense, cognac, oud, tobacco, amber, labdanum, honey, ash, oak. Really unique and really kind of sort of daring, but I think it's a great fragrance. I think if it was inspired by Black Afghano, I can kind of see that, but I don't think it's quite similar. There might be the ideas similar, but going in different directions, but definitely very spicy. The name is LAUDANO Nero, basically means dark or black labdanum. And labdanum is what's used in creating amber accord in fragrances. So obviously it's in the name right there telling you what kind of a amber you're going to have. So LAUDANO Nero from the house of TERENZI is at number 8. But again, this is an unranked list. Alright, up next, going to the house of Théo Cabanel, Barcon, one of their most amazing fragrances, and very resinous and spicy for an amber fragrance. Lots of myrrh here, lots of labdanum. Remember, LAUDANO Nero, labdanum, black labdanum, dark labdanum. Labdanum you'll see a lot in amber fragrances. It does have a spicy characteristic to begin with, but it's also sticky and also gummy, paste-like, but very molassesy. So it's myrrh, labdanum, tonka beans, vanilla, oud, cumin, patchouli. It's the cumin that does it for me here. It's really, it appears, it pops, it crackles, and as you're experiencing the ambery touches and the vanillic touches, the earthy touches, in comes in the crackling and popping of the cumin note. It's almost like setting off fireworks or something. That's kind of how I experience it. But super fantastic. This is an amazing fragrance. If you don't know it, please check it out. But moving on to the house of Ojar, it's Halwa Kiss. This one right here. This is more of a spicy gourmand take on an amber, and it's actually quite easy to wear, and I find that it's an amber gourmand fragrance. It's very honeyed and it's also nutty. With honey, there's dates here, there's sesame seeds, roasted nuts, amber, vanilla, pistachio. It's almost like a Middle Eastern dessert come to life. Just imagine some kind of a dates dessert stuffed with nuts, drizzled with honey, and you pop them in your mouth. Super delicious. That's the experience I get with Halwa Kiss. Super delicious, guys. Check that out if you don't know it. But the next fragrance going to the house of Matière Première, it's Encens Suave, this one right here. This is an incense in the end, but a very ambery take on incense because it has labdanum and benzoin. And of course, when you also combine vanilla in here, which this has, it creates that amber accord and it makes it very delicious against the smokiness, the resinous touches of the incense, or if it's frankincense in here. There's only one other note that's credited, and you do experience it. It's coffee. I feel like the coffee adds this very kind of grounded kind of contrast to all the notes in here, especially the incense, because the incense really stands out. Even though it's a lot of ambery touches, the incense is the prominent note here, but that coffee balances it out and it makes for a very unique experience. So Matière Première Encens Suave, let me know if you're familiar with that one. Are you a fan of it? Maybe it might even actually have some similarities to Baby Cat Rosendo MATEU number 5, somewhat distantly. But moving on to the house of KALI, it's Invite Only Amber 23. So this is an amber oudi fragrance. It's also on the gourmand side and also with tobacco. It does lightly hint at something like Wajan or Ambre Narguilé, so it's in kind of like that ballpark. But it's more amber to me, more sticky, gooey, and of course also tobacco touches comes in the fragrance to give it a lot more depth. But definitely it's kind of like a KALI fragrance. You can experience that because it's not super daring and completely out there. It's very wearable, but you've got to enjoy like the oud, you've got to enjoy the tobacco in here and things like that. But in the end, you've got this kind of Wajan-like experience, maybe even something like Angel Share, but there's a lot of other things happening with it, like the tobacco and the oud and things like that. But it's really yummy. Check it out. It's KALI Invite Only Amber 23. Then moving on to the house of Etat Libre d'Orange, it's Spice Must Flow, this one right here. The spice must flow. Yeah, this is a really yummy fragrance. It's rosy amber, but lots of incense here. There's zing and spice from ginger, very spicy, and cardamom as well. And everything is wrapped around this really beautiful, syrupy, sticky kind of an amber note. And it wears wonderfully on me, and it's super fantastic. I think the reason I got this is because of the name. I love Spice Must Flow, you know where that comes from. But in the end, I ended up really enjoying it because also it comes in a very unique package. It's got this really nice presentation, but it's definitely a great fragrance to wear. Ambery, also very spicy, rosy, smoky take on amber. Spice Must Flow, the word spice is in it, of course. This is a spicy amber list. So here is a new fragrance from the house of Creed. It's Centaurus, this one right here. Are you guys familiar with this one? I think Creed knocked it out of the park with their two latest amber fragrances, or amber style fragrances. This to me is a bit more masculine and very amber. The other one's a bit more soft and powdery and irisy, but both really, really great. Originally, I liked the other one more, but this one has really grown on me, and it's a very spicy take on amber. Lots of benzoin here, cinnamon, there's tobacco here, vanilla, tolu balsam, tonka with cardamom, ambroxan, patchouli, heliotrope, jasmine. Really nicely done. I wish I knew the perfumers behind this, but it wears gorgeous. It's pretty potent and intense. It's very resinous. There's also balsamic touches. And of course, you've got the ambroxan in there to give it that kind of sexy twist to the fragrance and prolong the life of the fragrance. But I think they did a great job on this. The only negative is really, really expensive. But I'm recommending it here as a great spicy fragrance. This is Centaurus from the house of Creed. Moving on to the house of Karine Reuterfeld. It's Lawrence. Are you guys familiar with this? So I did a video on this whole house. Go catch it if you want to find out or discover more about Karine Reuterfeld fragrances. My favorite is Karine by Karine. But Lawrence is a really nice spicy amber fragrance. It's jasmine, tolu balsam, there's saffron, musk, oud, cumin, and coriander. So not only do you have saffron in here, you also have that cumin. I love the cumin note. The saffron provides a bit of this leathery spice that's in here, but you've got oud and the balsamic touches of the tolu. It's a really nice syrupy, gooey, spicy take on amber, and also musky because it's got the musk, it's got the oud and the cumin together. It creates a bit of a funk. So if you don't know this one, check it out. It's Lawrence. Really great inspiration. I think I like the fragrances with the names from this house. They have names of men. They're called Seven Lovers, so I guess they were her Corrine Roitfeld's lovers in the past. That's all I know about those fragrances. But moving on to the house of Francesca Bianchi, it's Byzantine Amber. So Francesca Bianchi does some great fragrances. I think this is one of her best. I still like Sticky Fingers the most, and also the previous oud that came out and the new oud that she's got. But this Byzantine Amber is a great leathery take on amber with the DNA of Francesca Bianchi fragrances. There's lots of leather here with labdanum, there's cinnamon, there's frankincense, benzoin, ambergris, styrax, geranium. Geranium also provides a little bit of spice along with the cinnamon, and of course frankincense. Incense gives you that kind of black peppery smokiness. So it's a really spicy take on amber, but just the way that Francesca Bianchi fragrances are. It's got that DNA that she's known for, very recognizable. Once you start wearing and you go, okay, this is it. I remember or recognize who the perfumer is. But she did a great job on Byzantine Amber, and I also love the name Byzantine Amber. That is a great fragrance from the house of Francesca Bianchi. But moving on to the house of I Profumi di Firenze, it's Ambra del Nepal. My bottle's very used up. This is a great take on a spicy amber from an Italian house, and one that I've been a fan of. I've got a ton of videos on that house on the channel. If you go catch that, you'll see some of their more popular fragrances. But I don't know where they're selling these fragrances anymore, but hopefully you can find them online because they do make some great fragrances. Their Vanilla de Madagascar, Vaniglia de Madagascar is really great, and I feel like the Ambre is also a really nice top 5 fragrance from this house. Very spicy, very woody and musky also. This is Ambra del Nepal from the house of I Profumi di Firenze. Let me know if you're familiar with that house. Up next, going to the house of Atelier d'Azur, it's Larme du Desert, this one right here. Did you guys miss the gold flakes? Remember the new extracts don't have the gold flakes in them? These do. These are the clear bottles. And I think those are, you know, signature for this house. So it's a bummer that the new extracts don't have them. But I believe there was a reason behind it because they were so concentrated. They had to make them dark bottles. I don't know. That's what I heard. But Larme du Desert is a really nice resinous and woody take on an amber with a golden glow, with a really nice syrupy, molassesy golden glow with this. It's lots of benzoin. There's also amber here. There's cypress, incense, gaiac wood, and woods. But it does have some smoky touches. The benzoin provides what sweetness it has with its resinous touches, and of course, once mixed in with the amber and the incense, it creates this nice resinous, sweet, and savory kind of amber experience here. Really wonderful offering from this house. It's an underrated house, but I think not only are their bottles great, but also their fragrances are really top-notch as well. So that's Larme du Desert from the house of Atelier d'Azur. The next fragrance is Histoire de Parfum. It's Ambre 114. I'm not going to say it in French, obviously. I'm not a French speaker. But this is definitely one of the best ambers. I haven't spoken about it for a while, but I feel like it's great spicy take on amber. Lots of amber here with vanilla. There's benzoin, tons of nutmeg, tonka, sandalwood, and patchouli. And this house used to get a lot of hype. It's kind of fallen a little bit. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't hear about them much. But if you are looking into the catalog of Histoire de Parfum, Ambre 114 is one of the best from this house, next to their Patchouli Noir or Noir Patchouli, and a few others. And this is really a wonderful take on a spicy amber. It's Ambre 114 from the house of Histoire de Parfum. And last but not least, I'm going to end the list here with this fragrance. It might not be known for amber, but it's a musky amber. It's Frederic Malle's Musk Ravageur, but also very spicy. It's vanilla, musk, cinnamon, lavender, amber, sandalwood, patchouli. It's super sexy. It's gone gourmand since the reformulation, but it's one of the best from Frederic Malle, and I can't get enough of the way it smells. It's a top 5 fragrance from Frederic Malle for me, but really a great fragrance. Again, it might not be known for amber, but it's definitely ambery when I wear it, and it's also very spicy and musky. It's super sexy, guys. If you don't know Musk Ravageur from the house of Frederic Malle, please do check that out, and that's the last fragrance for you guys in this spicy amber fragrances video. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Do you enjoy them? Is there something that you haven't worn before that sounds great? You're going to check it out? Do put a comment down below so I can find out. Let me know if there's anything missing that I should check out, and which style of amber fragrances would you like to see in the future. Again, I'll be doing probably 2, 3 more, maybe 4. I don't know if I can come up with more ideas for videos. And if you haven't seen the previous videos, there is a playlist. Go catch those videos and watch them back to back, including this one. This is the 4th video. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright, a couple of bonus options that are less expensive, under $100. First of which is from the House of Dunhill. It's Moroccan Amber. The name is right there. A really nice take on an amber fragrance. This is kind of Dunhill's upper end collection of fragrances, but also really budget. They're not extremely expensive. I mean, when they first launched suggested retail, I believe it's around $150, but these are selling for around $60, $70 online, so really half price and really quality offerings. This is amber, saffron, coffee, immortelle, ginger, coriander, and hazelnuts, but really wonderful take on an amber, very spicy and a bit gourmand. So that's Moroccan Amber from the House of Dunhill. And the last fragrance, the budget fragrance, it is Bentley for Men Intense. Yeah, it is an amber for sure. It's smoky, it's leathery, it's boozy, it's spicy, but definitely an amber when it dries down, and it's super sexy, guys. It's lots of incense, leather, benzoin, rum, black pepper, patchouli, woodsy notes, cinnamon, and cedar. One of the best cheapies out there for men. I absolutely love this stuff, and I can't get enough of it, and I'm not, you know, I don't have a problem admitting to wearing this fragrance because it is really, really great, and I feel like the fragrance is worth a lot more than what you can buy it at for around $30, $40, $50 at the discounters. So Bentley for Men Intense, one of my all-time favorite cheapies. Definitely an amber spicy fragrance. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. See you guys later. Bye-bye.